Previously, Gogeta Blue's jumping down heavy had no Gatlings and other normals. You could only cancel him to special moves. Now you can Gatling out of jump down heavy into his grounded down heavy.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for pointing that out, babe. A better way of saying that is that his J2H can now Gatling into his grounded 2H. Now, on block, this really doesn't do much of anything for you. I guess it lets you, like, quote-unquote, hit confirm your block string here to then cancel into special moves, but, like, why? One thing that I did have come up on Twitter when I was first exploring this change was that some people were excited about the fact that you can combo this and basically do combos that didn't require you to do Gogeta Blue's rejumps. Well, let's go ahead and try to explore that with a little more detail. The damage that we had right there looked okay. You know, we didn't break 4K off of it. So if we do something with his usual rejumps, let's go ahead and try to compare some damage totals real quick. Now, if you're close enough to the corner, you can actually link that Dragon Rush and break about 4.7k damage in total for Gogeta Blue. Let's compare that route to something that just, you know, takes advantage of this new Gatling that Gogeta has. So we're doing significantly less damage for significantly less corner carry, all the while probably having to burn meter to get a knockdown in the first place, you know, taking advantage of the EX Rekka change from a couple patches ago. Like, very clear this is somewhat suboptimal. I guess this could be here, though, in case you just want to do a very simple combo, sacrificing, like, what little extra damage you don't need to get the kill in order to, you know, not drop the combo. But if you're struggling with rejump combos with Gogeta Blue, don't get discouraged. Practice, get to take a little bit of time with it. But there's also, like, an easier variant that you can do thanks to some other changes. If you use this variant here, where you do it from a single jump height going into J2S, and then you use his J3H, the one that lunges him forward like this, the super dash afterwards is pretty much auto time. Like, as soon as you get the hit, you're super dashing. It is, like, slightly more corner carry as well, actually. Because as you can see, from that same full screen position, corner to corner, the other route didn't let us link that Dragon Rush, but this route actually does let you link a Dragon Rush after it. I do think that it is slightly less damage compared to the other rejump route, but if you're looking for a simple way to do his rejump combo, this is your solution right here. Seriously, go boot it up and practice it. Pretty much the second you see the smash hit, if you're at least on like something close to PlayStation 4 offline timing, I do have to mention I play with a little more input delay on my PC setup. If you do that, well, then you should be able to get this one pretty easily. So start from this one, and then once you get comfortable with it, maybe try messing around with a double jump reheight. The light version of Gogeta's DP, Rising Vortex, has a change to its knockback on hit. Previously, it would push the opponent a little bit away. It's not like you can really pick up a combo off of this without investing some kind of resource. Either assist, spark, or vanishing. Now let's take a look at the new knockback effect after light Rising Vortex. GT Goku is much closer to the ground here, and I think the idea of this is just to make it easier for Gogeta Blue to use various grounded assists to pick up combos. The hits on everything else looks the same. So it's not like all of a sudden you're picking up new combos. So I think that's the main idea behind the change, just making it easier for you to get assist extensions. That way it's not so finicky for him to do so. This might also mean that if you're using this to end particular combos, that they're not going to be popped as high. So there might be something there, but you generally don't see Gogeta Blues end with light Rising Vortex in their combos. It's usually the medium version anyway. So I think that's the main point of this change, just making it easier for you to pick up with some assists. Stardust Fall has a behavior change to how it moves before he attacks, so let's try to break this down a little bit. If we do this from a stationary position, he pretty much stays in place. So let's try to see what behaviors would work in terms of combo routing. You get this to work off of a J2H in mid-screen. I did the wrong super there. You get it to work off of his Rekka knockdown as well in mid-screen, albeit with, you know, a little bit of an earlier timing on the move, but it would still connect. And this would really work in the corner, too. So it didn't really have any issues comboing for Gogeta at any point on the screen, and you would namely do this in case that you didn't have another DHC in your team that would be able to track higher up into the air to combo off of his higher damaging level 1 super, Big Bang Kamehameha. So let's see if we can identify any changes with how Stardust Fall moves before the attack comes out. It kind of seems like he floats up a little bit more when he performs the move. So if we look at this in terms of his combos... But it's still connected off of a J2H. You can now fire it pretty much immediately as well after his light Rekka knockdown in mid-screen. So I think as opposed to having to delay a little bit to link into this, but you also can't, like, instantly cancel into it. So, you know, give it a little bit of time and it'll work. If we look at something like in the corner... He definitely jumps up higher in this instance as well. And so I'm trying to kind of figure out, like, what the purpose of this change is. It still is pretty much working under all the old context that it did before. Maybe there's a couple of like combo routings where the opponent would be a little higher than Gogeta Blue, where this could be a little weird and frustrating to connect with because it would whiff because they were just above him a little bit too much. I'm not quite fully seeing the vision here. It might be just a change to make it work better off of like Light Vortex. But again, I'm kind of like struggling to really find any sort of like practical or game-changing applications for this. It pretty much works under all of the old context that I'm aware of, and whatever context was this change supposed to fix, I'm just not aware of it, apparently. The final change to Gogeta Blue in all these patches is to his C assist. Previously, it was 41 frame startup. Now let's take a look at the new startup on his C assist. 36 frame startup. So it's pretty much the same change that we've seen with other C assists of this style, you know, like the vertical tracking ones going down from 40 frame startup to 35, but he still has like one extra frame of startup, and I think it just has to do with his position where he fires the Gallic gun from. So it probably is like effectively the same thing, 35 frames instead of 40 frames. I think out of all the characters that we've looked at so far in the patch notes video, Gogeta Blue has the most nothing's changed feel of the entire patch notes. Yeah, there are a couple of things that are different, like the Gatling from jump too heavy into too heavy, but like it's sort of there, I guess, for like some very niche situations. It doesn't really have any high-level applications because it's not like it's reinventing his combo routes. It does give him a new combo route that is worse than his existing ones, but if you want to refer to it in a pinch to avoid dropping a combo in a tournament, I can absolutely see and respect that. There might be something with it after some smash launchers that I'm missing, but the opponent, from my testing, just flies completely off screen when you try to do that, so it's like you're not really going to get too much out of it. And then in addition to that, like, I can't really make sense of the Stardust super change. The Rising Light Vortex change might actually be important, just making it a little easier for you to get confirms with more assists, making Gogeta a little more splashable, I think, across some teams. Though I still kind of believe that if you're not playing him with Vegito and with Android 17, then you're not playing the best Gogeta team out there, because that team is still incredibly strong, and that's still his best partners from my understanding and from just my own experience playing with Gogeta Blue over the years. The only other thing to really say is his C assist is slightly better. It's in line with with all the other CSS changes that we've seen so far. If you played Gogeta Blue before, you're going to play him now. Granted, I think that, he also is thankful for the fact that he doesn't really have any nerfs in this patch. And I think that, if people are looking and trying to complain about the Blue Fusion team with 17 in this day and age, the rest of the cast has really caught up to that shell, and it is still a strong team, don't get me wrong. But if there's a reason why that, that team has won as many prestigious events as it has, it's because of who's playing it. Hikari. It's not like this team is like the end-all be-all the meta like it was a couple of years ago. The meta is a lot more wide open right now. So pretty much all I have to say about Gogeta Blue in this patch. He's pretty much the same character he was previously, and hopefully you're able to glean a thing or two from this video.